Hi guys, and welcome to another video. So as you can see by the title, Michael Beale has been sacked after just 2 months and 12 games in charge of Sunderland. Now, as I'm recording this, pretty much everyone bar the club have released a statement. Sky Sports, BBC, the lot, they've all suggested and they've all stated that Sunderland have sacked Michael Beale. I will check my phone in just a moment to see if Sunderland do release a statement, which they're going to at some point in the near future, but I wanted to get this out of the way now. So Sky Sports and BBC and a load of the journalists, high-profile journalists, have stated that Sunderland have sacked Michael Beale after just 2 months and 12 games in charge. Keith Dhannoo of Sky Sports as well has suggested that Mike Dods is going to get it until the end of the season. Now, if you follow me on Twitter or X, I was very aware of these rumours as of yesterday, and I had suggested, or I had said when people had asked what I want to see happen, I said that I would like to see Dods given the job until the end of the season. It gives Speakman, it gives KLD time to really think and reflect on what's going on and also do some proper due diligence before the next hiring, which is going to be one of the most important hirings of a manager in recent history with the club. Now, that's not to suggest that this season is a total write-off. A lot of fans have said across social media that this season is pretty much a write-off at this point, so you may as well give it Dods until the end of the season, that's it. That's not necessarily the case for me. For me, what a key thing is, and as I did allude to in the video the other day when I did go absolutely apeshit about Michael Beale and everything that went on at Birmingham, a big thing for me is now if you give it Dods until the end of the season, it gives him some time to sort of fix the disharmony that seems to be happening amongst the club, amongst the players. And I did say that, under Mowbray, in spite of some poor results or even some performances, there was this sort of energetic happiness and enjoyment out of the game that was almost, it was infectious. Like I said, and I'll keep on saying, I think it was the right time to let Tony Mowbray go. It just seemed like it hitting a bit of a brick wall, it taken us as far as he could go. We needed someone to take us to that next level, and then we hired Michael Beale, which straight from the off, it wasn't the right appointment. It wasn't the right appointment. We were touted to be linked with A, B, C, D, which is all seemed really exciting potential appointments. Will still being one of them, and then we appointed Michael Beale, who no one wanted. I've never seen in my lifetime, other than maybe Howard Wilkinson all those years ago, I've never seen so much sort of anger and already a sort of upset set of fans as a new manager comes through the door. He was already on the back foot. He wasn't wanted, and what you want in a manager is not just someone who has a bit of a record or at least a bit of experience and a bit of an excitement about them. You want someone who has a likability. And I know that that's not everything. Of course it's not. It sounds really almost tedious and daft. But likability is absolutely a thing. And sadly, Michael Beale, for me personally, and I know a lot of Sunderland fans on a personal level, we just didn't get that. He just seems to just not have that likability factor about him whatsoever, sadly. He just wasn't the right fit for Sunderland and wasn't and hadn't been, and I just think now is it the right time? I don't know. I just don't think it was ever going to be a perfect time to sack him anyway, because he'd only been there a very short amount of time, but he was never going to make it as a Sunderland manager, sadly. He just never was. Then everything that went on in the Birmingham game, it wasn't going to happen. He claimed that he didn't see Trey Hume. Whether that's true or not, it is what it is. I think it's bollocks. I think he totally saw Trey Hume, and when I saw him sort of papering over the cracks with his interview regarding that, when he's questioned about it, I think you could see straight through him that he was lying. How he totally skipped over it and then just immediately went to praising Trey Hume. I think it was a heat of the moment thing, but sadly that heat of the moment thing was incredibly unprofessional and unforgivable. And that's not to say that's the only reason he's been sacked. I think that's definitely the tipping point. But since Michael Beale has been in charge, not only the results going poorly, the performances have been so poor, and we've been regressing as a team significantly. And as I keep on mentioning, as I alluded to earlier, the team look so unhappy. And I feel like we need to get rid of him now, because the damage is going to be almost irreversible, because we had this, like I said, this youthful, energetic sort of happiness and this sort of everyone seems to be on the same wavelength regardless under Tony Mowbray. And again, and that's not me, romanticising what happened under Mowbray, because again, towards the back end of his tenure, it wasn't going great. It wasn't going great, and it was time to move on. But the team still had this bond and this energy and this sort of synergy between everyone. And that just seems, I feel like that's just been totally dismantled. And Speakman, he came out and he was saying that Beale's one of the best coaches he'd ever seen beforehand. I'm sorry, it's bollocks, and he needs to take a huge chunk of the responsibility for this, as does KLD, because it's an absolute cock-up of the highest order to appoint that bloke. So I think Dods until the end of the season to try and just rejuvenate the squad before bringing in someone else and try and get us back on the right line. I think that's probably the way to go. And I think under Dods, yes, we're probably going to hit some bad patches. We're going to hit some bad patches, but we know Dods. Dods knows the players, and we need to get them back to a good sort of mental state, because like I said, they look beat. Before games they look beat, and that is something that Beale has had amongst everywhere he has been. His track record is piss poor. The only sort of consistent is leaving teams in a worse place, and we hired him. So I want to say, I'm playing this on record, by the way, this isn't a personal dig at Michael Beale. I wish him and his family all the best. With everything that happened with the Plymouth game, I thought that might have been a turning point, a bit of a connection maybe, but then it just went tits up again, didn't it? That's not to say, I wish him bad, and of course I wish him and his family in particular well, and I hope, his niece, I hope she comes through and she comes and hopefully has a full recovery, fingers crossed with everything that's going on there. But sadly, the harsh reality of it is, those things can't be used as a reason to not tell a man when he's not doing great at his job, if that makes sense. And I know that might seem harsh, but I can't go to work and perform. I've been to work, after I've lost family members, or there are things going on, but I've gone in and I've still had to perform at a level. I can't say, okay, no, I'm doing really shit here because of this. So we need to, have a level of sort of realism here. And I don't mean to sound like an arsehole with that. I don't. That doesn't mean that, no one should be going personal at the bloke. No one should be. But he just wasn't the right fit. And I don't want people to say, oh, but you're being harsh on him because of this, if that makes sense, if you know what I'm getting at. I don't think that's right. And before fans or fans from other clubs or elsewhere, I don't give a shit about anyway, but before they start sort of targeting Sunderland fans saying, oh, it's only been 2 months, it's only been, and you haven't given him a chance and stuff. He wasn't in the right appointment in the first place. And we did give that opportunity, and all we did was see our team regress. So we are just saying what we're seeing. Yeah, we're only saying what we're seeing, and it's not our fault that is the case. And what we're seeing is a team regressing considerably. And what's more baffling and what's more frustrating with this is the club are more than likely going to have to pay Beale some kind of compensation, some kind of compensation package. Yet we refuse to pay the compensation package to get the likes of Will Still out of his job. Granted, it might be one considerably bigger than the other, but it just shows how daft and backwards it's being run at the minute. We need to go for a big appointment, not someone on the cheap, which I think Michael Beale absolutely was. Not someone who just because they're unemployed, we go for them. It was a cheap option and it was never going to work, and you're not pulling the wool over our eyes, and that's what it was. And we need to try and just repair the damage that Beale has sadly done. So like I say, him and his family, all the best. He just was not the right fit at all for us. But yeah, so now Dods, like I said, it should be Dods until the end of the season, it seems. I'm going to keep a lookout now on the Sunderland website, the Sunderland Twitter, to see if anything has been posted. Nothing has been posted as of yet. Everywhere Sky Sports is still saying it's done, it is gone. So I can't see that this isn't true anymore. But yeah, it definitely gives us a chance to repair the damage that has been done from Michael Beale, sadly. But yeah, so that's it, guys. Again, I'm not going to sit here screaming, shout with a big happy face, because when someone loses a job, they lose the job. But it's not very nice. He wasn't the right man for the job. Now this, if it is Dods, it gives us a chance to fix, gives a chance to rebuild a little bit from the mess that has been left by him. And we'll see what happens at the end of the season. Again, a statement hasn't been made yet. We shall see. But that is everything I'm hearing as of right now. But what do you guys think? Was it the right move? How are you feeling? What should we go for next? Who should we go for next? Do you agree that it should be Dods until the end of the season? Let me know in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed, hit the like button for me. It'd be massively, massively appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already to become a fully fledged member of the Sarny Army. But for now, take care. Stay jammy.